7-star Rillaboom raids arrive tonight in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And while we've covered a ton of builds that you can use to consistently solo Rillaboom and his ridiculous normal TERA type, I've actually been holding the best one back until now. So today, for all my Scarlet players, and maybe some of my Violet players, let's take a look at the ultimate Koraidon build that you can use to solo Rillaboom all weekend long and just do ridiculous amounts of damage. Is this build gonna be good? Absolutely. Is it gonna be consistent? Who knows? Am I gonna use this as an opportunity to segue into today's sponsor? You know it. As a lifelong Pokemon fan, the release of a new mainline Pokemon game is always exciting. However, some of the best games to be released in the last couple years, like Pokemon Emerald Rogue and Pokemon Radical Red, have been fan games. Mods for previous generation games created by people in the community doing entry-level game development without the backing of a big studio. But what if you had the knowledge and experience to create your own video games and turn it into an actual career with opportunities for growth? If all of that sounds exciting to you, then let me tell you about Southern New Hampshire University, the sponsor of today's video. SNHU has one of the largest accredited non-profit degree offerings in the country, and today I'd like to talk to you about their game development program. In the game development program, you'll create realistic, dynamic video game experiences using video game AI, different physics, 2D and 3D graphics, as well as learning how to design interfaces for video games. You'll also learn different computer programming languages like C++, C, and Java, as well as learning 3D modeling and texturing with video game art software, just like they use in the big leagues. But you'll also learn how to research, develop, and contribute to the advances and trends of the ever-changing field of game programming. Courses are taught by faculty with real-world experience, and SNHU is radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So head on over to snhu.edu/onedarknight or follow the link in the description to see what the current average annual salary for a programmer is and to request free information about this program. When you request information from SNHU, a real person will hop onto a call with you to discuss how this program could benefit you personally. So remember, it only takes one click to find your calling. And a special thanks to SNHU for sponsoring this video. Now, if we're going to use Koraidon to take on Rillaboom the Unrivaled, you're going to need to get yourself a Koraidon first. If you have Scarlet, it's really easy. It's called Beat the Game. Go to the bottom of Area 0 and catch your secondary Koraidon down there. If you're playing Violet, however, things get a little bit more complicated. For this one, your best option is going to be to use your second Miraidon or something else and go to Pokemon Home, go to the GTS system, and see what people want for their Koraidon. This one's going to be hard to get if you have Violet and you do not have Koraidon already. I would highly suggest checking out the Corviknight build that is probably going to do the exact same thing and is a lot easier to get because you can get it in both games. If you want to watch that video, the link's in the top right corner right now. But once you have yourself a Koraidon, it's time to head to your favorite chain vitamin supply store and get ready to spend some money because we got to train some EVs. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you already know I'm in Levincia North, but before we go down and start doing EV training, make sure your Koraidon is at level 100. That's going to be very, very important considering that this is a 7-star raid. So, do whatever you need to do with this, use your rare candies, use your XP candies, go out and farm chances, use the lucky egg, whatever method works best for you, get this guy to level 100, and once you're done with that, head on down to Chansey Supply, because we got to buy some vitamins. And just like that, we're in Chansey Supply. So once you get into Chansey Supply, here's exactly what you're gonna need to do. First of all, we're gonna train this one a little different than the other builds that we've done. The other builds that we've had, we focused on HP more than we have our physical attack because we've been using body press. However, for Koraidon, that's not the case. So for this one, we're not gonna buy 26 HP ups. We're actually gonna buy 26 protein or 25 protein if you happen to have the attack feathers laying around. So go ahead and get yourself 25 or 26 protein, and you're going to want to get yourself 25 or 26 iron, depending on the amount of feathers you have. That means we're going to max out our EVs in our physical attack on Koraidon and our physical defense at 252 each. While you're in here, make sure that you go ahead and grab yourself an adamant mint for this one. Odds are you probably have one sitting in your bag already. But just hover down over this, check and make sure. You can check the little bag over on the right hand side of the screen to see how many you have. But once you've got all that done, it should cost you about 520 between 520 and 570,000 Poké Dollars, which is quite a bit. But once you've got that done, let's head outside and throw this guy together. And now that we're back outside, make sure Koraidon's at the top of your party. Go ahead and head over to your bag and head over to the other items pocket. Now, I've trained my Koraidon up already, but if you're going to do this on your own, what you're going to do is you're going to come down, you're going to find your HP ups, and you're going to go ahead and give Koraidon 25 of those if you have attack feathers down here, muscle feathers, okay? If you have muscle feathers, give him 25 and then give him 2 muscle feathers to max out your attack stat, okay? Iron, after that, go ahead and give him 25 iron if you have defense feathers. If you don't, give him 26 iron, okay? Just like so. And once you've done that, make sure that before you head out of here, you give Koraidon an adamant mint, so that way he has an adamant nature. This is going to increase our physical attack and decrease our special attack, which is fine for us because we are definitely not a special attacker. While you're in here as well, let's go ahead and knock out our held item. We're going to head down into our item section through everything that we have down here, and you are going to want to find the clear amulet item. If you do not have one, you're going to want to head over to Delibird Gifts, get yourself a clear amulet, and go ahead and give that to Koraidon as your held item. You have 2 choices here. You can use the clear amulet because that's going to prevent our stats from being dropped, or you can go ahead and go with the standard Shell Bell. However, our Koraidon does know Drain Punch, okay? If it has Drain Punch, you really don't have a need for the Shell Bell, all right? It's kind of one of those, it's superfluous. It's not necessary. So I would recommend Clear Amulet. If you don't have one and don't want to go get one, go ahead and get yourself a Shell Bell on there, just like we normally do, okay? But with that, Koraidon is EV trained, and he's pretty well ready to go. It's level 100, fighting and dragon type with a fighting Terra type, either the Clear Amulet or the Shell Bell as your held item. Your EVs are maxed out in your attack and physical defense with an adamant nature, so plus attack and minus special attack, and your ability is Aura Chalice Pulse because that's all we get. But once you've got that done, it's time to go do some IV training, which means it's time to go see our favorite guy in the mountains and his giant Abomasnow. So I'll see you there in just a second. And just like that, we've made a trip up the mountains, and it's time to go see our shady friend in the glasses, who just loves bottle caps for some reason. So we're going to go ahead and talk to our guy right here. We're going to make sure that we are hyper training our Koraidon, and I can tell you right now, odds are your Koraidon is probably already hyper trained, like mine is, okay? However, if it's not, go ahead and hyper train everything except your special attack, because we're not a special attacker. You don't need to waste bottle caps on it. But once you're hyper trained, you're pretty well ready to go. It's time to talk about what moves Koraidon needs and how we're going to use this guy to take on Rillaboom when he arrives in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, odds are if you're looking at Koraidon's moveset right now, this looks pretty familiar because guess what? We've used this build several times before, which means odds are you probably have one sitting in your box already, okay? But the moves you want to make sure Koraidon knows are Sword Stance, Screech, Collision Course, and of course, Drain Punch, okay? These are all going to be super important. You can probably tell what the strategy is going to be for this one already, but that's it. Let's take a look at Koraidon all together and talk about exactly how you're going to use this to solo Rillaboom all weekend long. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is Koraidon to take on Rillaboom the Unrivaled and his ridiculous normal Terra type. I can tell you right now, this is probably going to be the ultimate solo build for anybody that has Scarlet to take down Rillaboom as easily as possible, okay? So, Koraidon should look a little something like this. It's Koraidon, level 100. It is fighting and dragon type with a fighting Terra type. Your held item is ideally the Clear Amulet because it keeps our stats from being lowered. However, if it turns out Rillaboom doesn't lower stats, go ahead and switch that to the Shell Bell for that extra HP regen. Because as we know, you can never have too much HP regen in a 7-star raid, okay? Your EVs are maxed out in your physical attack and physical defense with an adamant nature, so plus attack and minus special attack. And your ability is Aura Chalice Pulse. Okay, so we're going to get that direct sunlight as soon as we hop into the raid. As far as our moveset goes, it is Sword Stance, Screech, Collision Course, and Drain Punch. The first two are pretty simple. You're going to hop into the raid, use Screech for the first 3 turns to drop Rillaboom's defense down as low as it'll go. After that, you're going to use Sword Stance 3 turns to get yourself up to +6. You're going to want to use this after Rillaboom clears your stat changes, whenever that is during the raid. After that, you're going to start running Collision Course. Collision Course is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of those moves. It's a base 100 power and 100% accuracy. It is never going to miss, and it also has the added bonus. It says this move's power is boosted more than usual if it's a super effective hit. Since this is fighting type and Rillaboom's normal type, it is super effective, which means we're going to do ridiculous damage with this. And if for whatever reason your HP starts to get low, go ahead and use Drain Punch to just do some chip damage and get your HP back up. But that's it. That is how you are going to use Koraidon, the box art legendary for Scarlet, to just absolutely decimate this raid and solo this thing all weekend long. So, let me know what you guys think of this build down in the comments below. Let me know if you think it's going to work, and what you're planning on bringing to Rillaboom later tonight when it arrives in the game. And as always, remember, you guys got this. I believe in you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you need any help this weekend, I'll be live. Come over. We'll help you get Rillaboom, okay? But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.